I swear I've been working on this tutorial for like 3 freaking times. Like, this is the third time I'm recording this damn tutorial, cause jeez, I always mess something up and then I have to redo freaking everything like 10 trillion times. And it's stupid, man. This is I can't be the only person that's having this stupid problem where I always take so long to do crap because of damn procrastination and constant screw-ups. Minasan konbanwa, and welcome back to another Splatoon Blender tutorial. And we all know that I took 10 years to make this second tutorial because I don't find the correct time to do it. Something that I want to mention is that on the last part I somehow didn't talk about the shoes, and now I'm gonna talk about them. So first of all, you import your shoes. That's the easy thing. And then you figure out which one's the highest bone, which in this case is leg 2L. Then we go to our Inkling's armature, find that bone, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then selection to cursor, which is just that simple. After that, you select your armature and the model, Shift D, so that it does that. This is the same mistake that I did a few episodes back. It's let me undo that. It's Shift D, you can see on the bottom left, and then you right click, okay, right mouse, and then Control M, and then press X so that it mirrors to this side here. Okay, it's just that simple. And after that, all you can do is apply the modifiers, and then clear parent and armature deform. Once you armature deform, for the shoes you want to click on here to check the vertex groups, and then change these bones from L to R. Not the one on here, not this one, it's this one on your left. That's what you should change it to. And that's it. I'm not gonna do it because it's a waste of time and I don't have a lot of time to do it. Another thing is the ink tank, which I'll quickly do also. The ink tanks for Agent 4 are based on what level you want. Now, I'm gonna go with level 0, just cause, just saying, this is something I'm saying in advance. I don't know how to texture the level marker. If you play Splatoon, you should know what the level marker is. And for me, I honestly don't know, so I'll delete that. And it's not like I'm gonna be using it. Of course, you have to use it because that's how in-game works. But honestly, I myself don't know how. Anyways, find the bone called tank root, and then you bone constrain it to the back of the Inkling by finding tank root. And should be that. Oops. Then that should be done. After that, if you want to add ink, which is what you should always do, you should find tank gauge, which is right here. Select the bottom bone of the tank, so it's called tank simple, and then bone constrain it to the ink tank, which is 006. There's it. And then type ink, so you can get tank ink, and it constrains to the ink tank. And there you go, we have done the stuff that I did not mention in the last part. Texturing, this is something we're gonna quickly go into. So in order for you to do texturing, you want to open the shading editor, the shader editor, and to get that, you have to put your cursor here and move it across. But if you don't want to do that work, you can just do right click, do vertical split, and split wherever you want, like right about here, and it'll split immediately. And you can do it like that, like click up here and go to shader editor. You can do it wherever you want. Just remember, vertical means up and down, and horizontal means left to right. Just remember that, which I think you should be able to know, considering the fact that you're watching this tutorial. You should know the basics of direction. Now, if we like control stuff around here, nothing will change. It looks gray and it's dull and boring. There's nothing to see here. Now, you might not actually be seeing this. This is probably what you're seeing. You probably are seeing this. The reason why I have this mode turned on is so that it's not laggy for me. While being in this mode, it's very laggy. But don't worry, I'm pretty sure for your version it should work, because mine is a special. Mine is special. I don't know why. I was gonna say it's a special program, but that doesn't make sense. Anyways, in order to see color, just click on this area here. Now obviously you're gonna see a bunch of light, some beautiful lighting, because I have that turned on. So this is what you're gonna see. Oh god, I even deleted the default light. Nobody likes the default light, man. So let me just quickly bring it in. So this is probably what you see, okay? This is around sort of like what you see, this abomination. And if you don't see this, then change the render engine in this tab right here to Eevee, to cycles. Just change it. And if you have a GPU, change it to GPU compute. Now it doesn't work for me because I don't have a GPU. Haha, surprise. Technically I do, it just doesn't want to work. Now for us to fix all this mess, basically what my friends would tell you is to just delete this texture which is connected to the alpha. Like if I click on this and I get rid of it from alpha, it's now opaque, solid. I remember opaque as being, oh, opaque is solid, you can see its entire thing, it's not transparent. But apparently I've heard that opaque means see-through, and I feel stupid because I always thought opaque means normal, like solid, for like, I don't know, for like a decade. Not really a decade, but for so long I always thought that's what it was. But apparently no, unless I heard wrong and it's just something. Anyways, this is what I like to do. I just go through all of the models, just select all the image textures, including this. Just delete everything except this green and red thing. That's all. Everything except the green and red. All the orange and the purple. That's all you need to delete. And as you see, while I'm deleting this, you can see that the inkling on our left is starting to go more and more gray, which is like sort of like what we saw her earlier. It looks gray, but that's because there are no textures. That's the default way. Yes, you see, I'll explain a bit later. So yes, let's immediately skip to the point. Once you deleted everything, all you have to do is just go to File, click Clean Up, and then Purge All. Now keep doing this until on the down here, until it says no orphan data left to purge. Just keep doing that, as it says here, no orphan data blocks to purge. And now once you see that, just click on File, open Recent, click on the Blender file you're working on, and then click Save. This basically resets Blender. This just resets it, because even after you do the cleanup, if you import a texture, it'll go back to Bitmaptexture for some reason. Well, that's for me. I don't know for you guys, but just in case, do it. It's a bit better. Also, lighting is really nice looking. So let's start with the body first. Now, before we start talking about the textures, there's something about this principal BSDF that I want you to know. The principal BSDF is basically the default shader for every model, for everything. When you default shader, as in like it's what everything will look like. I mean, not this technically. These are the default settings. Oops, wrong shader. Here's the default settings. There you go. They look like this, and they look much more different than the color we're given now, and that's because this is I have no idea. Anyways, what I want you to do is you can do two things. One, delete it, get a fresh new one, and then connect it to surface. Or you can do the long way, which, I mean, sure, you can do it, it's fine. Whichever feels faster for you is you slide the metallic to 0, put the specular to 0.5, and then the roughness to 0.5. Technically, you don't really need to change the roughness, but that's what I always do, so it's basically a habit now. Again, if you don't want to do all that work, you can just delete it, bring it in. Of course, screencast keys are turned off. It's Shift A, and then bring in the principal BSDF. And there you go. Also, one more thing that I want to talk about. If you want to preview textures, like if I bring in, let's say, a noise texture, and you see, like, I can preview what it looks like. I can even check the color of it. See? And that's not what's even happening on the Inkling. It's just previewing. In order to do that, just go to Edit, Preferences, click on Add-ons, and then type Wrangler, or Node, I guess, and then find Node Wrangler. Click the checkbox, and you should be done. Man, don't you hate, like, accidentally switching letters? Anyways, texture. For the start, what I want to do is actually put the specular to 0.7, because here we're working on skin. This is a optional thing. You can keep it to 0.5, but if you want it to look a tiny bit more interesting, just to make it, you know, a bit better, I guess, you can change it to 0.7, which is skin. That's how skin works. Anyways, our first texture, and we are going to talk about ALB. ALB stands for albedo, and it's basically the main basically the main color of a model. And albedo you'll find everywhere. Now, if I recall correctly, this isn't how textures work. Textures, I think they're usually called COL as color. I'm not sure, that's what I remember. I can check a polygon texture. Polygon textures, they're just textures from Polygon. Here it is. So they're called COL. That's what they're called. I think this is how they call the textures. I don't really know how. This is how they called it in Polygon. I don't know how they call it actually, because I never worked with actual legit textures before. It's usually just a bunch of names and then PNG. So ALB, all you have to do is just put it in the base color and you should be done. Why does it say 2? Like, why? I deleted everything. Why does it say 2? Can I, like, purge something, please? No fun data. Okay, I don't know why it says 2. Anyways, what was I? Ah, yes. ALB, main color of the texture. Next, RGH. RGH stands for roughness. Where does it go? Obviously, roughness. Like right there. And when you're working, and one quick thing that I want to talk about, the sliders here, they represent value, because everything in Blender is math based. So, well, yeah. And so basically you need numbers to work with. When you're working with math, you need numbers. And of course, you don't want, color is not a number. So in order to make it a number, we set it to non-color. Basically, we're telling Blender, use this as value, use this as numbers, but don't use it as color. Except for ALB, of course, because ALB, it should be sRGB, because that's the main color of the model. Here, RGH, it's black and white, and I mean, yeah, it's grayscale, but of course, not all grayscale images should be set to non-color, but that's just a thing you should follow. Many grayscale images should be set to non-color if they're going to be used for value. So roughness, RGH, non-color. You should be writing a list. Please, trust me, you should be, because there is a lot to remember. There really is. Next is NRM, which is the normal map of a model. Now a normal map is basically it's basically just free detail. Not really. Okay, so I'll dumb it down a bit by putting this over here. I'll scale it down a bit more and make it so that you can see it here. Just give me a quick sec. I need to set this all up. So basically, while I do this, I'll talk about what a normal map is. A normal map is just fake depth. It's like if you see like the spots, if you look around like your table or something, you can see all these bumps and depth in your table. That's what the normal map does. Sure, technically it's called it's technically called was it displacement, but displacement you don't have to worry about since we're talking about Splatoon here. So here I've got myself this simple shader, and you can see this is what it looks like, and it looks horrid because it's just some random thing I decided to do. So you can see there's some depth in here, you can see the shadows, but on the side here you don't really see the depth, so it's not affecting the outsides, it's only affecting on how it looks like. So basically a normal map fakes depth. It gives you this extra detail. It tells Blender like it how can I say, it tells the light on what to do, which is why you get this depth, why you see this depth. Now of course this is just a thing. I mean, of course you don't want to do this, okay? Please, this is just something that I want to say just so you know what we're talking about. This is displacement, and when I do it you can see on the sides. Now of course you can't really see it, so let me like change the scale to like 10 maybe. Oh no, I know it's not working. Wait, sorry, I'm such an idiot. God damn it. There we go, and you can tell it's a bit like a broken mess. Oh god, let me try to, yeah, so this looks a bit different. Yes, it definitely does. But now you can see that there's actual like displacement, there's actual depth. It does actual deformation to the model. So that's what displacement does. Normal map, they just fake it. You don't actually it doesn't actually deform the model. It just fakes it so it looks like it. They're very useful because this provides less calculating time, while displacement they're quite a bit intensive. Not, I won't say they're processor intensive because I never really use them a lot, but use normal maps if you're doing modeling or texturing, because normal maps, they will save you a hell ton of render times. Anyways, normal map, it's data, okay? So it should be non-color. Anything that is data should be non-color. Please remember that. Also, you should really get that list. ALB is color, RGH is non-color, NRM is non-color, and you should probably write down which ones they're supposed to be, where they're supposed to go, and all that crap. Another thing is here for ALB. It looks crap. The inkling is pale as all hell, and in order for us to change that, we're going to be using something called a MixRGB node, and we set from mix to multiply. So the difference between mix and multiply is mix basically replaces it just mixes the color. It doesn't add color, it mixes color. We don't want to add we don't want to put a skin tone in here. Like if we put like this in there, sure, it's not accurate. This is because this is for multiplying, not mixing, but let me demonstrate anyways. If we just use color 2, then that means this entire model is using this color if we set it to 1. Of course, if I move it down a bit, we're using a bit of color 1, so there's a bit of there, but not a lot. Like even if I do 0.5, you can see that it's split. split. It's using half of the albedo and half of our color. The reason why this is a problem is because if we check this ALB, you can see that some parts are gradient. Like there's a little bit of a gradient here, if you know what gradient is at least. You can see like here's white and it goes to here, which is orange or something, or peach, I guess. If we do this, you don't see that anymore because we've mixed it with color 2, which doesn't have it. It's a solid color. So we mixed it with a solid color, but with multiply, we basically how can I say this? It's like math. For example, let's start with let's pretend that this white area here is 4, and this peach area is 7. If we multiply it by a color, then we get, let's say, 3, then the 4 will become 12, and the 7 would become 28. I meant 21. So yes, that's what multiply will do. It'll still have that little gradient, the little fall off there, because we're multiplying it. Multiply doesn't destroy the detail because we're just multiplying it. We're just changing, I don't know how to say it, but just do that, and there you go. Now you have a much more less pale inkling. So I'll give a list of skin tones in the description for everyone to use. You can tell which one is which. The first one is the first skin tone, and the last one is the last skin tone, which I have to wonder, why do you want to use the last skin tone? I mean, it's pure black. It's charcoal. I mean, yeah, sure, equality, yes, but I don't think that's how squids work. Equality is always a problem. Anyways, another texture, TRM. Don't worry about AO, because we're working in cycles. You don't have to worry about AO. AO is just fake darkness. It's fake shadows. It's useful for Eevee because Eevee doesn't calculate shadows. I mean, they do, but it's not good sometimes. So TRM is, you can see grayscale, but apparently for TRM you should keep it as sRGB because we'll be using it as color, and we don't want non-color to be used as color because that doesn't make sense. For here, you want to change it to soft light. Now, I don't have a good explanation on how to do this, but TRM stands for translucency mask. Translucency map. Not really. It actually stands for transmission, but I like to call it translucency map because we're using it for translucency. So get in a translucent BSDF, you can just search it up and just plug it in there. This will give us a sort of transparent effect. Now, we don't have to worry about playing with layer weight because luckily light is already doing that for us. Yay, thanks light, that's very helpful. So basically what this does, this is fake subsurface, and subsurface is like if you put your hand under a light, you can see that your hand, there's some glowy red spots. That is subsurface. And TRM, which is translucency, is faking that because the Nintendo Switch cannot calculate subsurface. So Nintendo decided to use TRMs. Well, it's not called TRM. I don't think it's called TRM, but they decided to use translucency because it calculates faster, and yeah, that's basically just it. So in order to do this, any blenderer would just put this, but oh no, it looks horrible. Let's fix that and let's add in a mix shader instead. This basically helps us determine how much that we want to use. Like if we want to use more translucency, I can just do that, but if I want less, I can increase the effect to use more of the principle than this. Now I'm gonna keep it at 0.5, and inkling has gotten more dark, and that's not good. In order to fix this darkness, I know I'm going too fast, but that's because I don't have time. Just pay attention. Pay attention. In order for us to make the inkling back to our original skin tone that we gave our inkling, we need to balance it out. And in order to balance it out, we just get an empty mix shader, take the principal BSDF, put it at the top, and then add these two together. And now it should look the same as earlier, except with translucency. And that's all for the skin. Yeah, that's all for the skin. If you still don't know, if you still don't understand, then I'll explain it one more time before I leave. ALB is the main color of it. If you want to change the ALB, if you want to change any color of the ALB, you need to use a multiply node, not a mix node. Mix isn't useful, it doesn't help. Use a multiply node. RGH stands for roughness. It should be set to non-color and it goes into the roughness slider. Normal map, or NRM, stands for normal map and it goes into the normal input. However, you have to use a normal map node just because this thing here will convert color into normal. So if you use just the color, then some things will definitely look extremely wrong, so you have to use the normal map. It also should be set to non-color because it is data, or data, however you want to pronounce it. TRM stands for transmission, however I like to call it translucency map. It should be set to sRGB because we're putting it as color into the translucent BSDF. And in order for us to just add in MixRGB, change it to soft light, and then put in a red color. You can put any color you want. With this you can control what sort of translucency you want, but I like to go with red because that's how it works. That's how translucency work. Please go with red, I beg of you. And that's it. And then after that we put them into a mix shader, and it'll look very dark, so we need to balance them out by doing these, by adding these two. So this is how it looks like. I'm going to put it on screen for some time. You can screenshot it or pause the video to check everything and do whatever it is. And if you still don't understand anything, just go to the Discord server that I have linked many times. Not really many times, but it's in the description somewhere. Go find it. Or I can just put it on screen. That should be much easier. So there you go. If you have trouble understanding this, you can ask some of my friends to explain in a much more detailed way, because I don't have a lot of time. I picked the worst time for me to do this tutorial. Anyways, Control C, so you copy everything, and then figure out which mouth do you want. Now when you're working with mouths, if you're working with multiple characters, you'll want to toggle these two, the monitor and this camera. Basically this will help get away like all of our other mouths. I mean, you don't want to delete them. You really don't want to delete them. But if you want to keep them, but you don't want them to pop up in the final render, then that's what the camera is for. This is so Blender doesn't render the hidden objects, which they love to do. Blender loves to render hidden objects, and it gets annoying. Even if especially if you're rendering a 4K render, and then halfway through Blender renders stuff that you don't want it to render, and then you have to go through 20 minutes of rendering again. Damn it, Blender. Please keep stuff hidden. I don't want to do it manually. Anyways, now that we got our body shader, we can just also put it for the mouth, because it's also for the mouth. Next is eyelids. Now eyelids is the same thing as skin. 0.7 specular, please remember that. Now eyelids don't have a roughness texture. I don't know why. Probably because the guys at Model Resource did some tweaking that they weren't supposed to do. But I don't know. So we all know ALB, and it looks like garbage once we put it into the base color. If I can even put it in the base color. Hello. There we go. We have white and black, and that looks horrible. Absolute horrible. You might think, let's just put, this might be something that you would do. Just put multiply, and then put our thing. Oops. And put our thing in there, but of course it looks wrong, and the reason why is because we don't have a skin texture. We just use white, and that's what MLTA is for. This is MLTA is called multi-texture, I think. That's what my friends call it. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but multi-texture, I like the sound of that. Basically, MLT, the A, the B, there's also C, which I haven't seen before. These are to go with the albedo. So basically, yeah, multi-texture. They're to help with the albedo. Nintendo doesn't want people to use their content. I mean, they don't want them to steal it, which is why they do this. Okay? You cannot blame them, okay? And now you can see it definitely works, and yeah, those are some real fleshy eyes, not gonna lie. So of course we're gonna need MixRGB. This is how the mix can work with the factor. Just follow what I do here. I'll explain in a bit. So here's how it works. Since we're using this albedo as data, we want to set it to non-color. Now I'm only doing this because it's in black and white, and black and white, honestly, nobody gives a crap that I put it as a non-color, because it's black and white. It's pure black and pure white. I don't think anyone's gonna care. And how this works is black means color 1 and white means color 2. So the white area is where we want the skin, and the black area is where we want the thing. The reason why I want you to do this rather than just doing this, which is what you would definitely do, and I don't blame you, you can do this, but the reason why I like using mix is because then you can do whatever SFM art that you like. And I don't want to promote SFM art in Blender, but this is something you can do. You can change the eyelid color very easily like this. Please don't do this, because I think the Blender Foundation and everyone else would really hate me that I promote a bad content on a good platform on a good software's name. Anyways, next is alpha. I mean ALB0S. This goes into the alpha. This is what opens their eyes. You cannot control this. You cannot, unless you have to do some really good work with the nodes. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but if I do, I'll make sure to share it as soon as I can. Of course, black and white, you might think, oh, non-color, but apparently for this case, we're gonna keep it as sRGB, because my teacher kept it as sRGB and he never changes it to non-color. But you can set it to non-color, it doesn't matter. Either way, it works, and I've already explained what normal map is in the last shader, so just yada yada yada, do all of this crap, yada bada 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 baby bada bo. And then lastly is the TRM, which is the same thing. Also, sorry if I sound more and more tired. Speaking a lot isn't very easy, you know. Making a tutorial sucks. And I think a lot of tutorial makers can sort of agree with that. Making tutorials suck a lot. Especially if you're working on a very tight schedule. So eyelids, it's the same thing as I've mentioned. And yeah, there you go. This is how you do everything. And we're done. We're done with eyelids, and of course I'm gonna do this again so you can see everything. Okay, you see everything? Alright, 3, 2, 1, we're gone. Let's go to the eyes. Now the eyes is a very complex one. Not really complex, just kidding. They're very simple. Instead of changing roughness to 0.5, you want to change it to 0.17 because that is the actual roughness of the eyes. I don't know what happened to the roughness texture, but it's 0.17, trust me. Don't trust me, trust Gabriel. Gabriel's the one that said it. If it's wrong, then blame Gabriel, not me. I don't know much about ripping yet, please. So TCL stands for team color, and the way on how it's used is it serves as a mask so that you can tell, like, you then so then you can like change the color of what area you want that area to be. As you see, I changed the eye color, nice and simple. If you just use the albedo, you get this, which looks very familiar. I'm pretty sure y'all have seen this back in the first Splatoon game. I know we all love that weird graphics. So TCL should always go into the FAC, and it should be set to non-color. And since it's a TCL, we should set it to mix. Whatever the hell I just said. But remember, mix. Okay, this time we are using mix because TCL is telling us to change this part of the ALB to the color of your inkling, to the ink color of your inkling. Yeah, and that's how it works. Sorry if I sounded a bit weird there. Oh god, I sound way more tired. Pretty sure I drank water earlier. Anyways, normal map, simple stuff. I already told you, it's just this. Oops. There you go. Done. We did the eyes. Now this isn't how the TCL is supposed to be used. For the actual textures, there's an alpha mask which goes up there. For some reason, the guys at Models Resource decided to use a TCL because they thought, this is broken, let's fix it. I don't know why they did it. Probably to make it more easier to use, but it's fine, I guess. Now next are the eyebrows. Now the eyebrows are certainly a horrible thing because the guys at the Models Resource decided to fuck up everything. I don't know what happened, but they fucked up everything. If you go ahead and check the models, you can totally see that they are definitely white, and white is not good because then you don't know what the hell you're supposed to do. The normal map is safe, I mean, it's working, which is awesome. Everyone loves the normal map because free detail, yay. Oops. Free unneeded detail. So this is how you usually are supposed to do it. I'm being serious. After this, there you go. And then 0.333. Done. This is how you're supposed to do the eyebrows, and even, well, not the mouth. The mouth is a different way. I'll tell it right after this. The reason is because everything's white and you don't really need the texture stuff, so just do this if your inkling doesn't have the textures, because none of them do. However, we have, what did I just do? However, we have good old Jasper, which is now missing because we have no idea what happened to her. But Jasper has nicely ripped some good old models for us called mouth text, which stands for mouth textures. It's supposed to go for the mouth, and luckily we have an inkling girl. This is only for inkling girl. This doesn't work for inkling boy, which is extremely sad. So yeah, it's only inkling girl that can have these textures. And yeah, I don't bother using the TRM because I just don't. But you guys know, but I'll tell you how to use the TRM for the mouth later. But using a different model. Trust me, that's apparently how it will work. But yeah, so here the TCL goes into the fact, and the albedo always goes into color 1. Color 2, the only exception is for the eyes. That's when the ALB goes to color 2. Okay, again, here's what the here's what the eyebrow shader look like. TCL, ALB, RGH, NRM. Simple. And you're gonna see this often, like literally everywhere. Another thing is that obviously you won't have these, so I'll set up a download link for everyone. Okay, cool. If I cannot get a download link, then I'll just make my own. And of course, since these are also good, I'll put them for the mouth. Yeah, I also want to show you the traditional way of texturing the mouth. Okay, and I'll keep it on just because I can. Now when we put on the color, everything becomes yellow, and that is disgusting because Inkling's teeth are very clean. Not really, they really aren't. What's the color of squid teeth, I wonder? Does I even, why do I even ask that? So here is how you do it. Basically I have here I have something called an ERR, which is basically a theme color for the mouth, and that's what it's useful for. And then just put this in there, put this in there, and there you go. You now have a beautiful mouth. And that's it. Yep. That's it. Voila. You got the mouth. But of course, we've already got the eyebrow texture, and we can just put it into the mouth. So you don't need to do that method. Another thing, if you use the other method that I showed just now, remember to put the roughness to 0, because ink. Anyways, hair. We're gonna quickly do this. Let's immediately skip right to the point. Not really, you're gonna watch me do all of this, because I don't want to edit a lot of stuff out. I want to spend the least amount of time editing this video so that I can actually get it out to everyone before school starts, before school time tomorrow. So TCL is everything that anyone can imagine. Oh my god, I keep screwing this thing up and do it over. Oh god, 15, damn it. Color 2 in there, done. Next is roughness, also done. If I can just quickly do that. Blender is lagging extremely hard right now. Why am I itchy everywhere? Why am I even talking while doing this? This is fucking stupid. It's all fun and games. It's just, this is how texturing works. And then we've done all that. Now for the TRM, this is also how you do it for like the eyebrows and the mouth. Basically just take the mix shader, put it up, keep it at sRGB. Increase the FAC and put the mix to multiply. After that, take a translucent BSDF and then do all of the translucency bullshit that I've just told everyone like 3 times. So there you go. Another thing that I want to add is that for the hair, we have a new texture called THC. Now, apparently, we recently discovered that THC should be used as color, which is fucking stupid. It goes right in there, and yeah, you can just do that, or if you want, you can set it to non-color. Pick whichever you want. I like to keep it at sRGB, but if you want to put it to non-color, then sure, go ahead. There won't be much of a change, but it's just based on what looks best to you. There is some change, and you can go ahead and check that. I'm not gonna do the hero hoodie because that is simple. I'm not gonna do the shorts because that is simple. I've talked about everything because I told you what the TCL is, how to use the ALB. It's right here like this. and then the RGH and NRM, I've already told you everything. Next, the next problem is going to be for the ears first. Now I'm not gonna give two craps about the ears, except a few things that I want to mention. There's something called, if I can find it, just give me a quick sec. Here it is. Body. This is the headgear. Now we got an ALB, which you can guess goes straight to the ALB. Then we have a new texture called EMM, FXM, HLT. Now you don't have to care about FXM and HLT. Those two I will explain in the next part. Really, I will, if I can get it quickly. And here's the MLTA, which apparently this time doesn't go to ALB. So, there are 4 ways to use an EMM texture, and this varies between the models. So it's not like you can add in EMM and do all 4 methods. No. Only some of it. It's based on what the model is. I mean, it's based on what the texture is. So let me put the ALB in here real quick. First, this is one of the ways where the EMM is non-color, goes to the FAC. My computer froze for a little bit. Put the color to 1, then put the MLTA in color 2, and then shove everything like this into emission. And now it looks exactly like the headgear that everyone knows and loves. Basically what this does is the EMM tells where the MLTA should go. The MLTA is basically the color of literally everything, and that's how everything goes through there. And that's just it. That's one way. Another way is where like instead of this, it goes to like any color. This is another way, and here's a third way where the albedo goes into the color. And then the last way, the 4th way, is just taking the EMM, put it in the hue saturation, and then just put it into emission. The reason why we use the hue saturation is because then we can control how bright and dark we want it to be, and that's basically just it. So in this case, we're using our MLTA, and because this is actually how it works in game, of course, multiply with the team color. Now of course you want to be careful on how much you do it, so I'm gonna do as much as how it looks like in game, which now that's what it looks like. Defo, that's what it looks like. Trust me, it doesn't look like this. It looks like this beautiful, it's quite nice little, this little like up temperature. I don't know. Eggman 4 is a nice character. I have to say that. Sadly, I pissed that character off. Not like I actually met Agent 4. It's just someone that I don't know how to say it. Anyways, for the shoes, you will be introduced to a new texture called MTL, which stands for metallic, and that simply just goes into the metallic, and that's just it. Set it to non-color, done. That's all I'm going to be explaining for the normal stuff. Now let's go to the ink tank, which again, I've already talked about this part here. Just look at the textures, see how they work, and figure out how they work. And for the glass, it's simple. Delete the principal BSDF by pressing X, add in a glass BSDF, and then just shove it in. I recommend you put the IOR, which is index of refraction. Basically, if I go ahead and check the preview here, this controls on how the refraction works. Now, 1 means like literally transparent, like that's how it is. 1 is transparent. That's just it. That's what I always use. Of course, you can add a bit of roughness, and by roughness I mean a lot. That's what I do here, because that's how it works in game. There's roughness with a glass, but apparently That's never shown at all. I don't even see it anymore. And for the ink, roughness 0, put specular to however amount you want. Now here you would see an EMM texture. Now don't use the EMM texture as emissive. However, I also recommend you use it as emissive. You can use it whether you want to or not. That is based on your opinions and how you want it to look like. Because in game, they shine bright like a diamond. They really do shine. Shiny ink. Can you imagine shiny freaking ink? Okay, so here's how Stuffles, my teacher, did it. He did it like this. Not in color. Color. Put it to fact. Value to 0.9. Color 1 to black. And then color 2 as our team color. And that's just it. We have everything. Now if you want, you can also like put the same thing for here, except a bit darker, so it's not really like black. You can do that as well, whichever looks best to you. I always do this. It looks about nice. I guess it looked weird, but that's how it works. And there you go. I've explained literally everything that you need to know when working with Blender. Well, all the basic stuff technically. Just it. And of course, if you want free lighting, if you don't want to do all your lighting by yourself and you just want to get some free lighting, go over to HDRI Haven, download a HDRI, preferably at 2K, and then open that thing. Just go to wherever you downloaded it, get an environment texture, not an image texture, get an environment, and then find your HDRI, and you should get some free lighting for your scene. And there you go, we have finished everything, and there you go. Let's end the video here, shall we? Yeah, we're ending the video here. If again, go to the Discord server if you need more detailed explanation to stuff. And of course, if you don't want to join the Discord server, you could ask in the comment section. I mean, yes, because the comment section is being very lonely, no one's talking. But anyways, this is Velopexon, and I am going to go away for geography tuition in about 20 minutes. So yes, goodbye everyone.